Hey, Dad. So, um, Eric sent me that video, and I know that you were like tuning him out, and I can tell, but I need you to clarify what exactly you meant by crack house because he entrapped you. Did you know that you were being recorded?
No, I did not.
Okay. Like obviously we all know like that, I was at Brandon's mom is the one who helped me get the hotel, and I was in the hotel for a few weeks, and I was indeed at Kai's house. I need to know exactly which house was the crack house that you were referring to.
Eric believed that you and the baby were in a crack house, and I was referring to the hotel when I was non-committal about the question about him asking me that
Right, because no one.
because no one knew for sure, and I initially I said that you and the baby were not in a crack house, but he did not believe that. So I just said, well, I don't know for sure then, even though I knew the truth. But that's not what he wanted to hear.
Because he recorded you, and he's been trying to use it to fuel this
That I did
case.
not know. I did not know I was being recorded.
And at least I have your permission and your knowledge to record you for this, because obviously
Yes.
what he did is entrapment.
Right.
And we have to pursue this, and I'm so sorry that he did this to you. I know that everybody was trying to keep the hotel under wraps, and that makes sense. You
Right.
know,
That's another thing, because I did not want him to know exactly where the two of you were. I didn't want him to know that, and I wasn't going to tell him. He could believe what he want. If he wanted to believe you were in a crack house and there was no,
and there's
dissuading him
never been
otherwise,
evidence of that.
then that's fine. But I was not going to divulge your location,
I
and I didn't.
understand. And I understand. I understand that you meant the best that you could, Dad. I'm really sorry that he did this. I actually can't even believe he sent me that video. I'm going to forward it over and take care of this, because what he did is indeed entrapment. I know that we were all trying to keep the hotel under wraps, and I know that we were trying to
Right.
because Brandon and his mom helped me, get it, and then Auntie extended it, for all those weeks until I moved in with Kai.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I was like, okay, can I get clarity on this crack house, because there's never been one. It was the hotel I was in, and of course, I have my itinerary and everything,
Right.
and I'm also working with Brandon and his mom, because I'm going to have them give me a public statement as well. I'm really sorry that my ex did this. I'm sorry that he did this to you,
You don't
Dad.
have to apologize for him. I mean, so it be what it is. And at this point, I don't. All I want to see is you with the baby full time. If that can, if we can get that, whatever I can do to facilitate that, I will.
I know that's what we've been trying to push for. I'm just sad that it came to this. I mean, you never did anything to him for him to entrap you like this, and that's what. It's like it's too many personal attacks on the family, and I just like the way he's lost his mind. I knew that you were like tuning him out, because you can hear that in the beginning of the video where you're just like,
Right.
and then he's just like fueling, you know.
He's feeling his own. He was feeling his own paranoia about it. I did nothing to feed it. All I just said was just say, he.
Because disagreeing with him, he doesn't let you disagree with him.
No.
He's overbearing.
Well, then that's on him. I don't. I mean, at that point, I didn't, because yeah, and you're right. I was tuning him out because it was clear to me at the time that he wasn't listening to me. So I just said, okay, whatever.
All right. I love you a lot, Dad, and I'm really sorry things have really come to this. I had a feeling I knew what you were doing,
Mm-hmm.
but like I said, like saying, oh, I didn't know that it was a crack house until this. It's like, I don't like how he sets you up. because obviously there was no evidence of that, and my itinerary and everything. I can't believe that he did this. But I love you and thank you. Good evening. And yes, before I go ahead and get started into this video, I do want to shout out to not only my friends, my family, and my loved ones, but the beloved free spirits who have been by my side this entire time and have been moving through amazingly as you guys have. And I am so blessed and I am so grateful for all of you. And as I continue to move through this, do not think that it is lost on me that I am indeed blessed to have such a beautiful support system, both in real life and online, as I always have had. And I am so grateful that I came on here and I told you all the truth about everything, good, bad, ugly, and in between, regardless of how it made me look, regardless of if it started some weird campaigns and side areas or whatever. You all know it's never been my interest to argue with anyone or do the back and forth or do all that crazy mess. I cannot be bothered to lower my frequency too much for just like low vibrational garbage people. And to be honest, like even in this era where I don't have beef with anyone, a lot of you, even those of you who have your own drama channels, a lot of you are actually doing me more of a service than a disservice. And that's why I always wish you all peace. And I wish you all the best, because you all don't realize that you all are all helping me in ways that you might not be aware of, especially in regards to proceeding with court. And so I thank all of you, near, far, toxic or not, whatever it is. I'm blessed to have all of you in my orbit and in my community. And so, as many of you all may or may not know, this video, even though it's not necessarily addressing my audience per se, it's definitely addressing the friends and family of my child's father. Because as we come to a close and as we are kind of wrapping up these wild crack den, crack house rumors that have been circulating for the past year, and I could never personally get to the bottom of it. You all know that for the longest time, I never believed that my ex had such a video. I never believed that he, you know, had such evidence, because it was preposterous, because obviously I was never in one, right? That was never my thing, like, I mean, whatever. And also now that it's been revealed that I was indeed in a hotel, right? During that time period of leaving him, my friend Brandon, shout out to him, and his mother, shout out to her as well, helped me during that time through August 15th and 17th to get me set up to be in the hotel. And when I went to court on the 16th, that Friday, you know, Brandon's mom watched the baby for me and everything, and we continued to work together to move forward. Now, this information was indeed confidential for the longest time, because those of you all who may or may not know, when you are in a domestic violence situation, the abuser should not know where you're at with your baby. Now, I understand that I was remiss for not including my child on the original protective order, because it was never my true intention to keep him out of my child's life. Now, some of you all may or may not be aware that my ex cannot say the same, right? He's always had a vendetta. He's always operated in this lower frequency. I've been saying for the longest time on my channel that it's giving, if I can't kill you, I'm going to erase you. And this is the behavior that he's acted out in, right? And so because of that, it's made me come forth and tell you guys everything, because another event happened just over the summer when I missed my child's birthday. Like, yes, my child's father and my baby do share the same birthday. However, I am still the mother, and there was never an order prohibiting me from my child, saying that I was unfit, saying that I was a danger to my child, or anything of that nature. And if there was, you can simply ask my ex to manifest one for you. But because I know that such order does not exist, labeling me as an unfit, you know, horrible mother, there's just nothing in existence of that, right? The baby ended up being withheld anyway, right? And yes, I went through a period of, like, you know, bleeding and everything when my fibroids were dissolving. Things have cleared up. And yeah, that didn't clear up until June, right? And things have gotten much better, and my fertility has even improved during this time period since leaving. I definitely don't think that that's a coincidence, right? And I'm blessed, so I'm grateful for it. But nonetheless, I did reach out in May, despite the fact that I was still bleeding and feeling sickish, even through Mother's Day. I still reached out because it was important for me to always reconnect with my child. I just was trying to feel better and figure out my stuff first. Because even on the 28th of April, it was suspected that my fibroids were dissolving, but we didn't know if that was what was happening across the board. But granted, that's indeed what was happening across the board. And there weren't any further complications, right? Now, my question to you as the friends and family of my child's father, and this video may get a bit tearful. I may share a few details. Nothing's out of malice. Nothing's out of harm. I'm not saying anything that's not common knowledge, right? But I have a question. I have a few questions for you. I need to know what now. I need to know, was it worth it? And I also want to know, how does it feel that you all aided in a pretty sadistic plot to tear and separate me from my child, whether you were aware of it or not? Because my child's father is so bitter, so angry, so consumed with like revenge and vindictiveness and low frequency to come after me and target me. I mean, his bitterness towards me literally just like it screams and bleeds through the screen. I mean, even when I, share, the screen caps from the Talking Parents app, or, I recite, one of his text messages on a live stream. I need to know exactly, how does it feel that you all supported someone like this? Of course, I know that I will never be able to pull support from him. That's actually not the goal. What I'm actually asking for is self-reflection and self-accountability and truth acknowledgement. That's exactly what I'm asking for. Because while I've been over here walking and living in truth this entire time, living my life, moving forward with my life, taking care of myself, looking after my family, looking after my baby, and doing all the things I can to continue to get my life on the right path and continue building myself back up, because why wouldn't I do that? It seems there was a lot of busyness on y'all's end to label me as the unstable, crazy baby mama who ran off to some crack den and then, allegedly dropped the baby off and never returned, even though I was reaching out indeed, even though, I had a period of vulnerability and I was afraid. And whether you agree with it or not, it still happened. And it was never my intentions to ever just up and abandon my child. It's just during those weeks, you all may not want to admit this to yourselves, but on my end, and to everyone who's, aware of what's been happening on my end, we all know that my ex is not trustworthy. And vulnerability and that man just do not go in the same sentence. They do not go hand in hand, and it's not conducive to me or my well-being to be vulnerable with him at all, by any means, right? Because he's sadistic. And as you all have probably heard, he's very pathological in nature. I've even called his behavior psychopathic in some instances, because recording my father without his knowledge while badgering him about crack houses and drug dens that were never in the room with us is pathological in itself. This man betrayed my father as a way to fuel this insidious case against me, as some way to gain leverage over my child. And I guess this case was supposed to ruin my life or something, or tear me down or something weird. I'm not really even sure the intentions. It's so wild. And maybe you all can clear that up for me. So maybe you, Blue, Tiffany, Adriana, Jackie, maybe you guys can clear that up for me, right? Because all of you all have been peeping on my profile, right? And I'm aware, Tiffany, that your mother has been watching my son. I'm grateful to her and I thank her. However, I wonder if she's aware that that's completely unnecessary due to the fact of all of the lies and manipulation that my ex has spewed amongst y'all's circle. trying to just block me out of the child's life, right? I'm really curious. And even though, Tiff, like, your house is the least favorite of my house, y'all are the least favorite of his friends, in my opinion. I'm probably the least favorite on y'all's end, whatever, it's fine. We're all, open to different opinions, right? We are all open to different frames of mind. But you all enable him the most. He gets the most messed up at your house. Him and Blue get, like, crazy wasted, right? I mean, to where even Blue can't even walk down the stairs properly. They get so wasted. Eric will come back home stumbling, tumbled over. He gets so wasted at your house. Eric does this at his house too. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, it's kind of like an everyday thing with Eric, but I notice a certain level of enablement over there. And even though that's a generational baby mama house as well, given the history that all you all have had in your relationships and things like that, I get it, just a bunch of women and people and family trying to make it. However, I don't understand why the participation at this level when there was so much truth on the other end. Now, I'm not expecting you guys to play detective and everything like that. I just want to know how it feels that you all partook in such an insidious narrative. Several, to where even that development program that Eric told them that, oh, I dropped the baby off and never returned. I corrected that with the quickness, and I even gave them the copy of the motion to default that he tried to process while I was dealing with my bleeding and all of that. I informed them. I gave them, like, my doctor's notes and all of that history and everything. I let them know what the truth was, because I'm like, I don't even think that it's proper and possibly even legal to lie to even a development program for an infant child as a way to gain leverage over said child. And that's kind of where I really draw this is where I really call judgment, honestly. Seriously, this is exactly where I call judgment, because while you all probably had the best intentions of helping my ex, what you all were doing was enabling his abusive and insidious plot to fuel this case. And thank God it's come out, it's been unraveled that he never had anything to begin with. And if he gave that clip to The Guardian, do trust that it says more about him and his character than it ever could about me, right? Especially now with my receipts that have come out that I've always had, that everyone has always had. I was indeed in a hotel. I was with my friend Brandon and his mom. They're the ones who helped me because I didn't want to wait at the police station for someone to come pick me up. I mean, I knew that I could do better than that, and I did, because my people are amazing. I've always had love and support over here, right? And yeah, I left him and I restarted my life. And yes, I am indeed rebuilding from nothing. It's not the first time, but it's doable. And I've come up in more ways than one. And I'm blessed to be where I am. But it never gave unfit. It never gave unstable. It never gave a danger to my son. It never gave a danger to his development. In fact, the person who endangered my child's development is the same person who traumatized my baby in his environment while withholding him from me. And that's a reflection on you all too, because all of you all supported it. While watching both Traumatized Girly and this channel back and forth, and I guess feeding information to him, some of you all were aware that he was going to default this case, right? And I just want to know, like, how exactly does it feel that you all, by enabling this man, essentially, you all were manipulated as well. Okay? You all were manipulated as well. Because whether you just took his word blindly, or you just chose not to question any of his statements, even as preposterous as they were. Perhaps maybe he brought Kai around, because you guys know they're like allegedly like messing around and everything like that. So that's great for the frequency, of course. So maybe, of course, because some of you all are familiar with Kai, right? So maybe he brought her around to hype up this narrative. I hope you all know she has a horrible habit, and she's the one who's actually really not well. And this is why, even though I mentioned her in passing, I release her with love and peace, because the fact that she's still unhinged to this day, as a means to get involved and try to stir up some kinds of drama, just tells me enough about her that I need to know, right? But I need to know if this was worth it, especially as things continue to unravel and unfold, especially as maybe some of you are aware that my ex's behavior becomes more and more unhinged, especially in this last month of me visiting my son. There has been no reason for him to behave the way he has. I'm actually like fascinated by it myself, because I'm just like, what the hell is this man's problem? And maybe some of you all can help me address that as well, right? Because I don't know what his problem is. I don't know what his issue is. This man is perpetually angry. This man looks worse than he's ever looked. This man is like the most hostile I've ever witnessed him. He still projects a lot towards me, even when it comes down to baby booties. Like it's getting quite petty. He's unraveling, and I want to know, is it worth it to soothe a man's ego so much that you aid to his detriment? Because clearly he's unwell and he's not doing well. And I'm not saying that I necessarily even care about his well-being, but he's still a father to my son. And so to feed a man's delusions to this nature, to aid a man in his own destruction, because as you all see, no matter how hard he crashes out, no matter what negativity and bullshit he tries to manifest my way, it literally just ricochets back tenfold, and it just backfires. When it could have been prevented in the first place. Right? Right? It could have been prevented in the first place. And I understand that he's the badgering type. I understand that he's also a bully. And he's violent as shit. I get it. Like, he's unhinged. Like, I get it. And he's capable. Right? And you guys all know that. Right? Tiffany, you know that. You know who he's been ever since you were younger. Right? And that's why you guys are tight, because he's always looked out for you in ways that maybe you needed him to. Right? Ways that, you know, we don't speak about publicly. Right? But, you know, there comes a time and a place where even those type of characteristics and that lifestyle stop aiding to your betterment and start being more of a hindrance to your progression as a human being, especially as a father, especially as someone who's supposed to be an example for the youth, right? Now, I understand that he badgers and he bullies, so perhaps maybe he was going off so badly to where you all were like, okay, for sure, we'll just step in and we'll do this. But if it was ever like the victim frequency, because I know how my ex likes to cry victim, because he did the same thing to me. I mean, when I talk about the child he had with that other woman, I believe that he did. I believe that was his child that he talked about in that sick way. I do not believe that she cheated on him, because, I mean, look at how he treats me. I no longer believe any narratives that my ex told me, because, I mean, clearly even our whole relationship, even our whole friendship was indeed a lie, a facade, a mask, right? And that's the truth, because that's been bleeding out this entire time, this whole year, ever since him threatening my life, right? But I want to understand, and I want to know, and I really do, just ask for a little bit of self-reflection and accountability when it's like, what and who am I supporting and why, right? Because these are the questions you ask yourself when you realize there really is nothing that's going to get you to the other side of this other than simple accountability and reflection, right? I've had to sit with it, right? And I get it. Maybe you all didn't want to speak out because he badgers way too much. Because once he gets an idea in his head and once he believes it is truth, you can't convince him of anything else. He did it with me. He clearly did it with my father. He's done it with everyone because it's just the way he is. It's the way, unfortunately, that he's wired. There is no reasoning with him, unfortunately, in certain instances. But if it ever came to a victim narrative where he was, you know, possibly I don't know, crying and being manipulative and talking about how, oh, poor baby and all these things. That was completely unnecessary. I've always been here for my child. I've always been available. And not once have I allowed any harm or danger come to my child, despite all odds and circumstances. Because I know the mother I am, and I know the woman I am. Despite what anyone might say, think, feel, I know who I am, right? And protecting myself and my well-being and my literal health during a time of vulnerability doesn't make me any less of a mother than any of you, right? As a mother, sometimes we have to make choices. Sometimes we have to make some very uncomfortable ones. Sometimes we might not even know what the fuck we're doing or what the fuck to do. And that too is still valid, right? We might not always get it right the first time. It's like what they say, parenthood doesn't come with an instruction manual. And that's the truth. But if he came to y'all crying and was using Puppy as a means of sympathy, then we're probably having some different conversations here. Because that I can actually understand. Because he did the same with me in the beginning of our relationship. He would cry about how women have done him wrong, and oh, he's been victimized by so many crazy exes and the whole spiel. And it's like, oh no, I see who you are. Like, you will literally take someone up out of this world. No, those women were probably defending themselves against you, right? Like, you all know how he raves about how a woman stabbed him in the past. I no longer paint him as the victim in that either. He's so violent, he can become so unhinged. I'm sure that some women may feel like they don't have a choice. The same way how I knew I didn't have a choice but to leave after he threatened my life. There's a pattern here. There's a pattern of behavior here. There's a level of pathology here. There's something indeed wrong here. Regardless of the mask he wears for any of you. Because I saw that. I lived with that. I spent way too long even trying to understand that. I mean, some of you probably see me trying to understand his behavior even now. Because it makes no sense. I need to know exactly how it feels that you all supported this. And what now, as we're moving forward. Are you all aware that I proposed what I want for custody and allocation of rights? And it's up to be reviewed September 26th. And I'm letting you all know this now because as the time and things change and, things progress, I know it's going to make a lot of your wheels turn. How, why, when, where did she start getting more time with her son, who she always should have had time with, even though she went to this crack house, even though she's unfit, even though she's all of these things. It's almost like those narratives were never the truth, right? And I thank God that the truth is finally out and revealed. However, it's a reflection. It's a very interesting reflection and a very interesting frequency to analyze, because one side, like mine, I'm aware, right, of where I've gone wrong. I'm aware of things that I could have done better. And I own that every day, day in and day out on this channel. And then on my ex's end, it's a lot of work that was done to cover up the truth and to mute it and to smear it. Because the truth of who and what I am and I always have been was always there. And that's what's weird. Like, you really had to say crack that. You really had to say, never to be seen or heard again, never return. Like, you really had to say all of these things. I mean, down to him sending me that video of my dad. He literally emailed it saying FYI, as if it was like some kind of a gotcha. Darling, all you did was show me how low you were indeed willing to stoop to pursue this case. You committed perjury, sir. You committed perjury. And if you are telling the truth about sending in that very clip to the Guardian, I hope you know that clip is inadmissible in court. You did that. You did that. I didn't do that. I would have never even wished that on you. Why would I want that? You did that. And like I'm saying, like, my friends, my family have always been there for me. This fool was never supposed to know where I was when I left him, because it's literally a part of the privacy and discretion as a domestic violence survivor. He threatened my life, whether any of you want to admit it, acknowledge it or not. And what I went through with my child was very real. I mean, I defeated all odds. I mean, I'm still here. I mean, whatever. And now I'm like having some of the biggest come-ups in my life, and I'm blessed for it. It's just the way the tables turn, especially when you say down in truth and you keep it real, right? But all of this unnecessary tension that keeps coming from his end, and even the hostility when he texts me, and even the way he tries to still gaslight and twist and project, the man has a problem. And I just need it to be thoroughly known that the more that he is enabled, the worse he indeed will get. I've made peace. That's why I've moved on and, dating better caliber men and, worked on my mindset and doing all the things that I needed to do, because if I would have waited around on this one, child, I would have been a waiting ass. Don't nobody have time for that when life keeps moving. Some people are just hopeless because they refuse to reflect, and they refuse to change, and they refuse to actually better themselves because they're too busy pointing the finger. And I just want to know, was it worth it? Especially now that you all have not only heard the truth from my friends, my father, and there's going to be more truth coming out. My friend Hannah wants to speak. The paramedic that I'm dating wants to speak, because he was aware of some of the things that I endured. Even down to the bleeding that I experienced when I was pregnant. You think I wasn't letting everybody in my circle know how bad shit was when I was over there living with my ex? Especially while he was always threatening a custody case against me while I was pregnant? You think I wasn't telling everyone in my circle at all times what the fuck the tea was? Right? Because this man's behavior was just quite literally disturbing and psychopathic and scary and stressful. I mean, I'm bleeding while pregnant, even down to 7 months. Do you know how much harm that could have done to our child? All because he refuses to take accountability for how fucked up he is internally and psychologically. And you all think that this drama or this tension that he causes even around the child, he swears around the child, he behaves like this around the baby, and he perpetuates this cycle. This is his generational curse, not mine. I rebuked it. I was like, oh, okay, this is not my story. I need to move on. Cool, bye. And I've done so ever since. I could have chosen the desperate Susie narrative and like, oh, all that. But that's what the hotel was for. I grieved then. I'm cool now. It's just honestly mild entertainment for me. For me, it's just content. All of this has been reduced to content for me. But I want to know, what now? And to Tiffany's mother, darling, I'm grateful for you, but I feel so bad for you. Because you don't know. And how would you? You don't do social media, right? You're probably not that technical. And you're just caring about puppy because you think that, oh, he must not have that great of a mom. He must not have that great of a example. I'm just doing what I'm told. I just know what Eric told me. I feel so bad for Eric. Have mercy. I wish all of you the best with peace and love, and I release all of you. But I do call judgment. Because y'all enabled a man who has been insidious with trying to cut me out of this child's life for the simple fact that he cannot live or own up to what he's done. The reason why that man don't have no happy home with his child and, you know, whatever, mother of the child, the reason why he doesn't have a happy life with a new child is because he's not a happy person. He's not even a good person. And I'm not trying to convince any of you, because some of you are aware and you just stay and you support in silence because you know what happens if you speak up against him. Especially the women. Y'all know. I've never seen someone quite literally fight reality so hard to where it boomerangs back all the time on them. And regardless of what life is showing them, trying to teach them and reveal to them, they're in such denial about it that they would rather continue to sabotage self and those around them as a means to prove a point. And that's unfortunate. And that's when a woman like me knows when to cut her losses, and thanks God that I am where I am today. Because yeah, it could have gotten so much worse, but thank God it didn't. And it seems like things are working out and wrapping up in just the nick of time. I want to know how it feels to be on the other side of a lie that you all supported for so long. But now that the truth and the illusion of that lie has died, and it's fading now because it no longer has any hold. My ex revealing that he was willing to even betray my father, that was enough. And I thank God that he revealed all of that to me, because, I mean, my dad was right to cut him out as a liaison. Like, I mean, no one has to deal with your shit, Eric. Like, it's garbage. Right? So, you know, rest in peace to that entire timeline. I handed back in full knowing and truth and peace. And I wonder how many people will self-reflect after this video, or how many will just continue to feed my ex and his delusions, and the low frequency will just carry on. But either way, I will never be erased. I will never be shut out of my child's life. I am an eternal mother. And thank God I'm just getting started. My child is definitely not my last child, and y'all know that Eric is definitely not my last relationship. And that's why life continues to get better and better. And I remain blessed and grateful for it. So I wish you all the best. I hope that was some food for thought. And enjoy your weekend, enjoy your time, and when and however you're watching this video, I hope it finds you well. And I hope it raises your frequency, if even just an inch.
She's too much, man, and I'm worried about his safety, in all honesty. Right. I don't know if she can be a good mother, and I really don't. Okay. The fact that she wanted to bring him on a fucking date, that's insane. Yeah. The fact that he was in a crack house, that's fucking insane. Yeah. Who the fuck brings it? Did she not call anybody else to try to go somewhere else? Nobody wanted to pick my son up and her to fucking not be in a crack house? That's, I mean, honestly, yeah. I do look a little bit, I don't want to say, but I look a little down on you too. Like, you couldn't have picked her up and sent my son in a crack house?
All she told me was that she was just in trouble somewhere, and she needed somewhere to stay with the baby. And
a crack house is an option.
All right. I didn't know about the fact that there was a crack house until I got there. All right. I didn't know until I went out there and saw it for the first time, and saw all the shady crap that was going on. Okay, that's when I, said, look, you got to, because I don't know if you've noticed, I've been trying to stay out of this.
I know.
Okay,
you can see my frustration as a father.
Absolutely. And the only reason why I've gone this far was because to try to make certain that you got a chance to see your son, because that was kind of personal to me.